Here's a little bit of advice to you people who are just wanting to get into this hobby. This is the reality of it right here. And I'll give you some of the best advice you've ever had if you want to get into metal detecting. That's what you're going to find. Very few metal detectorists find a lot of stuff like me, or like my friends, or like others on YouTube, right? I've been detecting for almost 3 decades, right? And through my years of detecting, I've been out there, detecting in the park or on a curb strip, or ask somebody for permission on their property, and they say, oh, I want to do that so much, and oh, that's so fun, you found a lot of stuff there, and I show them my finds, and they go out and buy a metal detector, and I always suggest, here's a really good bit of advice right here. The main advice I'm gonna say right here. If you have never metal detected before, don't buy a machine from a big box store or from online. Go to your local dealership. Just Google metal detecting stores or metal detecting dealerships near me. And the small stores, the small little businesses, those are the spots to go because they do it. The big box stores, they have no idea what they're selling, right? Most of the time. If you call them up, the big box stores, a lot of them don't even know anything about the product. They just sell metal detectors for money, right? Those smaller businesses, the small mom and pop stores, the small metal detector dealerships, they know because they do it, right? They've probably been doing it for a long time, and they have metal detectors in their store that will get you going. And another little bit of advice too is, join a club first before you buy a metal detector, right? Because a club, you can even just go to a club meeting, for free. Just go and check it out. See what other people are swinging, see what other people are finding in your area. And most of the people in the clubs will be happy to let you use their metal detector for a little while and see if you really want to get into this hobby before you start spending some money on a metal detector you will never use, right? Or just use once and put it in the closet, or sell it on Craigslist or eBay or something, because you didn't like the hobby, right? Because you didn't understand that most of the stuff that you're going to find, 99% of the stuff that I dig out is going to be trash. And believe it or not, this is all the good stuff that I recycle. That's not the stuff that I throw in the garbage can, the other 99%, right? That stuff right there is still pretty much junk, but it's scrap, it's the stuff that I'll be recycling. But if you just join a club, if you see guys out there metal detecting and they're getting good stuff, that's probably because they've been detecting for a few years, right? Or they really know their detector very well. And if you're getting the hobby, just join a club or just start asking questions to your local metal detecting dealership, right? Just Google it, metal detecting dealers near me. And they'll probably have machines like Tesoro's, Mine Labs, Noke the Macro, Fisher, Technetics, Deus, there's others, Bounty Hunters. Stick with the major brands. If you get these some of these detectors out there, if you buy them online and you see all the gimmicks and stuff online, you're gonna be really disappointed in this hobby because you're gonna get taken, right? Go with a major brand name. You really can't go wrong with any detector like the ones that I just stated, all the major brands, and I may have forgotten a few brands out there, but Garrett's another brand too. But I've seen many people, they think that they can do it. Not everybody can metal detect. It's hard work. Finding treasure is not easy, or everybody on earth would own a metal detector, right? And I've had people see what I'm getting, and then they buy a metal detector, and I never see them again. And most likely those are the people who bought metal detectors online. Let's take a couple instances. I asked a guy if I could metal detect this house because it was a really one of the oldest houses on the block. and it was an old farmhouse, and I let him use my detector, and he found some really cool stuff. And then I contacted him a couple weeks later, and I told him to go to a store right here in town, the metal detecting store in town here, and maybe go look there and see if he can buy a simplex there, because he used my simplex and he found some really cool stuff. He was a guy just getting in the hobby, and he went and bought a machine online. You know, he bought it from one of the big stores. I don't want to name any names, but it's a major store that sells metal detectors. And he bought it, and he's never metal detected again. You know, if you want to get in this hobby, I tell you, the first thing to do is start going asking questions to people who actually do it. You know, you see all these videos online of these guys getting these killer relics and lots of silver because they do it a lot, right? Because they do it a lot. They know what to listen for, and they have good machines, and they like, and they've been doing it for a while, right? They know what they're getting into. If you go out and spend a bunch of money on a nice metal detector and you don't know what you're getting into, you're probably not going to like it much. There's a great chance you have more chance of not liking metal detecting when you get a detector than actually liking it, right? If you really want to know that you like it, go and borrow somebody's detector. If you're interested in metal detecting, you probably will like it. You know, if you go use somebody else's machine. But if you go out and spend a bunch of money on a detector and a pinpointer and all kinds of stuff, and you only use it for a few times, you know, which I've seen literally hundreds of times. I've seen people walk in the metal detecting store and they buy a bunch of equipment, and they only metal detect once, right? If you like metal detecting, go borrow somebody's metal detector and see if you really like it from there on after. Once you start digging up some of that stuff and you see the reality of metal detecting, you probably won't like it, right? Metal detecting is for certain types of personalities, and you know, you got to be really strong to metal detect, and you got to have a lot of patience. And you know, I just tested the AKS detector in my backyard there, and it's up. That video is actually uploading. But don't go for the gimmicks, right? Sure, you can buy a metal detector for under $100, you know, and it can get you into the hobby, but you need a lot more stuff than just a metal detector to really get some good stuff out of the ground. You can find some good stuff out of the ground just with a metal detector without any tools or anything, but you really need some good equipment if you really want to dig, you know, like me, do it every weekend or whatnot. And you know, you need a bag, you need a big garbage can, right, to throw all your trash away. You need a hand digger, you need a pinpointer, and usually I like hunting with other guys, right? I really don't like going out alone. I like going out with other guys and, you know, seeing tag teaming permissions and tag teaming parks, and you know, that way you can find the hot spots faster. You know, Jim gives me all this stuff. One of my friends who I dig with every day, he gives me all this stuff: his silver rings, his gold rings, all of his coins, all of his jewelry, everything that he gets. We detect pretty much every day together, and pretty much all day together. And you know, detecting with other people, you can really learn a lot, even from a person who doesn't know how to metal detect. If you're learning at the same rate, you know, if two people get this a metal detector, even different metal detectors, at the same time, and they just start detecting, you know, you can learn a lot from each other. And but you can learn the most from other people, you know, not from videos. You can learn a little bit from videos if you've been detecting for a little while, like learn the settings on your machine and learn how to dig proper holes and learn where to detect and learn where not to detect. But every area is different. But I know that in your area, there is a metal detecting club, and there is a lot more metal detecting dealerships in your area than clubs. you know, and there's a lot of people in those clubs. No, normally most clubs are, you know, half a dozen to a few dozen people, right? And any of those people would be happy to have you go out with them and maybe borrow one of their detectors or borrow a few of their detectors and dig with them, and you can learn from them and maybe choose a machine, one of their machines that they have, and maybe buy one or get one used, or a metal detecting club or store might have some used detectors, so that can get you in the hobby a lot at a lower price. You know, metal detecting is not a cheap hobby, right? It's very expensive. Some of the machines are very expensive and the tools are expensive. You might go through a lot of batteries, maybe in your pinpointers or your detectors, and you know, there's a lot of rules out there. Some places have rules. You can't dig in parks and schools and curb strips, and you know, I would say just join a club or just go to a club meeting. You know, just Google it, metal detecting clubs near me, and just call them up or email them or message them, and just ask a couple questions, and you know, that'll get you into the hobby a lot smoother transition than just buying a detector from a big box store and struggling, you know, because it really does take in-field experience. You can't learn a lot from metal detecting through videos, right? They make it look easy. It's a lot harder than it looks, man, on video. And making videos is a whole different task. You know, making videos, I think, is just as tough as metal detecting itself, right? With all the camera gear, I really don't have a lot of camera gear, but I've made tens and tens of thousands of videos trying to perfect making videos. You know, there's a lot of crappy videos out there, but you know, I try to make the best videos as I can, try to give you the most information as I can throughout my videos. And live digs, you know, that's why I like live digs, because it really shows you exactly what I'm doing. I have my camera on top of my head, so you get point of view. You know, what you are seeing is what I am seeing. You know, my camera's not mounted on a tripod. My camera's not mounted on my side. It's not mounted on my wrist. I'm using a GoPro camera, so it's a little bit more stable than a cell phone. You know, because metal detecting really does take two hands, right? A lot of videos out there shows guys with their camera in their hand and trying to dig a hole and then trying to pinpoint it with their camera in their hand. It's really tough, man. I don't want to make metal detecting harder than it should be. That's why I have my camera on my head. Well, thank you for watching. Please subscribe.